It's been great. It has literally cut our time, I would say, 75% on projects, just doing the data capturing in the right field. Maybe we're paying a person, including our overhead costs, $60 an hour. So every hour that they spend scrubbing, is compared to what I can get from Super.AI in an hour is, I mean, of that 60, I'm probably saving $50 at that, maybe more. So it's phenomenally exponentially, cost effective. My name is Dan Mainwaring. I work for Bureau Veritas, North America, specifically with Asset Management Group. My role in the company is an asset management program manager, specifically around maintenance and operation. And been with the company about 3 years, and I would have a long history of asset management and maintenance management in my background before coming here. I'm using Super.AI for a couple different types of projects. Probably the main type of project that got us involved with Super.AI is asset management. So we're doing asset data collection, basically going into a client's business. It might be a retail site or a distribution center or maybe even a production facility. And we're collecting nameplate data off specific pieces of equipment. And in doing the capture of that data, we need to pull out specific portions of that data for use in their asset management systems. Generally, it's going to be maintenance management systems for their asset modules, and they need to know the equipment name, manufacturer, model number, serial number, and in some cases, manufacture dates. That's probably the bulk of the work that we have going on now. And I know we have some other questions. We'll get into that a little later as to what it's done for us. The other projects that we've done specifically with Super.AI, which kind of is a new area, is storeroom inventory management. So part of my project or my program is doing storeroom inventory for clients. We help them with storeroom management, organization, counting of parts, cycle count, stuff like that. And where Super.AI has helped us along similar lines, but a little different. We have Super.AI, we get a picture of the part, and we send the information, the picture to Super.AI, and they pull information off the part. It will be like manufacturer, the model number or part number, and any other identifying information that we may need, like possibly size or something like that, quantity, unit of issue, stuff like that. And it's a fairly new program, but it's worked out well. And there's some learning on our part that we need to address to make it even more efficient, but it's been great. The old way of doing business before we started using Super.AI is our assessors would go out into the field and they would capture photos of that item. And one of two things would happen. They would either take the time to type in the information into their tablets as they were collecting the information, which obviously takes a lot of time, or they would go back after the collection and they do what we call cleanup. And they would use an OCR system in our application that you would have to highlight the specific areas that you want to capture into a specific field and then hit a button and it would pull those OCRs. The OCR would pull that data and dump it into a field. Very time consuming. That's on the asset collection piece. But the OCR was only used for model and serial number. So you had to physically type in the make, you had to physically type in the year of manufacture, stuff like that. When it came to supply, storeroom parts, there was no OCR. You physically had to take a picture and then type in the data by hand, which is extremely time consuming, extremely monotonous, and just costs a lot of money for people. It's been great. It has literally cut our time I would say, 75% on projects, just doing the data capturing in the right field. So, we capture the photo, we send the photo off to Super.AI. That's pulled and reviewed and, captured and then sent back to our system where it automatically fills in the fields. And that can happen in as little as a couple hours or a couple, maybe a day. I don't think I've seen anything more than a day. It depends on the amount of data, among other things. And I can tell you that for facility condition assessments for asset tagging, where we use this, it's amazing, right? Lot less, lot less typos, a lot less issues with data being accurate, and it's just easier on the people. We can get them into another project right away and not have to worry about hours and hours of review and data scrub. As far as storeroom parts, it's been amazing with storeroom parts too. Now, we're still kind of in the early processes of this. There's other processes we have to refine on our end, on the Bureau Veritas end. But between the previous projects that we did and this first project we did with Super.AI, it was night and day difference. The costs were much less. The time on site was much shorter. And we were, able to do our work much faster for a lower price to the client, which is good. But, less price, less time means more profit for us, less cost to the client, and we can move on faster to other projects. Other than the amount of hours it saved, which is probably 50% of some of these projects is data review and scrub, what we call scrubbing. The cost to do a record in Super.AI is, for an example, right? Maybe we're paying a person, including our overhead costs, $60 an hour. So every hour that they spend scrubbing, is compared to what I can get from Super.AI in an hour is, of that 60, I'm probably saving $50 at that, maybe more. So it's phenomenally exponentially, cost effective. It's been great. Now, I wasn't the original BV person that started working with Super.AI. Lowell Chapman obviously was the one that I think you and Lowell collaborated to have this partnership. And since I've come in and started using Super.AI for my projects and programs, it's been great. I ask a lot of Super.AI. I ask a lot of questions. I reach out and, discuss a lot of things with you, ideas, and it's always good because you tell me, what's possible, maybe what hasn't been done before, but we'll give it a try, right? We can always see how it works. Once the process starts, we can refine the process. And as you say, the more data we put through, the better the process gets from the Super.AI end. So I think it's been great, honestly, and the costs are amazing. The work is amazing. Just my projects alone, how much have we, increased the number of projects we're running through you? It's been wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. There's a specific project we're using right now, or that we're working together right now with Super.AI, and had we used that process from the start, the company probably saved a heck of a lot more money and time in trying to get their system implemented and initiated than what we're currently going through right now. But, on another line on that thought, even though we have to go back and do some cleanup work, because we didn't have this process from the start, they're still saving a lot of time and effort, trying to finish this out by the end of the year rather than having people sitting behind a computer doing it manually. It's going to save them thousands and thousands of dollars and hours of time. I would say it's definitely worth it. The cents on the dollar how, whatever the fees are that we're getting is definitely cheaper than putting a person behind a desk on desktop work for a week. But you also need to know really what you want. And maybe, that's part of the problem we ran into with the storeroom function is that we have a good process thought wise, but in practice, the process had some hiccups. And so that we know the next time we go into this process, it'll get better from the BV side. And, Super.AI provided a great tool. And I think that moving forward, I think we can only continue to enhance and, refine that tool to where it's an unseen thing that happens in the background. You don't need to manage it. It just happens and you're happy, right? Things come through and you're ready to move on. So I really believe that. And your team has been awesome. I know there's a lot of setup things that have to happen. Sometimes it's a little confusing, but keep working through it, get the track set, and then you only have to do it once, right? Uh, I mean, not really. I think the imagination's the limit, right? I mean, who knows what other kind of data sets we're going to ask to pull information from. I think it's pretty easy. Jason took a lot of time that he didn't have to take to go through and show us the process and how he sets up the information, in your system to pull the data. And it's just it's very, I mean, it looks very, I won't say simple, but it's easy. Whoever developed this was obviously thinking ahead. And I would love to help refine a process for other types of projects that maybe you can contribute to, right? Depending on how much time we all have and how much money we all have in that process. But I don't see the relationship between BV and Super.AI going anywhere anytime soon. As far as going away anytime soon, I think it's just going to get stronger. We're going to have more data and more projects that you're going to be working on.